The clock has already started ticking, and it's not just any countdown. It's a spiritual one. You were drawn to this message not by chance, but by a divine force working behind the veil of your reality. 45 minutes left is not a metaphor, it is a spiritual alert. It is heaven's way of saying time-sensitive access has been granted, but your window to act is narrowing fast. The signs have been there. The whispers in the night. The sudden restlessness in your spirit. The gut feelings you tried to push down. You've been touched by something sacred, but you've been brushing it off, dismissing the divine signals as coincidence, even when heaven kept knocking louder. This moment is sacred because the divine has reached through the unseen to intercept your attention. A prophetic current is swirling around you. Something in the spiritual realm is shifting. Something unseen is trying to crash into the visible. And right now, right here, your soul is being summoned to wake up before that shift completes without you being spiritually positioned. There is an urgent pull for your awareness, because something is about to break open. Whether you feel it or not, you are not alone. You're being watched, protected. Wait, not by fear but by forceful love. An archangel stands beside you. An ancestor is trying to reach through the veil. A holy presence has been circling your space, watching, waiting, warning. This message isn't casual. It's catalytic. Heaven is issuing a final tug before a curtain drops, and the reality that follows will either catch you or consume you. Type 4545 in the comments or meditate on it now. It carries divine urgency and protection. 4545, a dual angelic echo of final warning and perfect timing. You're not imagining this. You didn't stumble here out of boredom or curiosity. You didn't just click, you were summoned. The interruption in your spirit, the tight pull in your chest, that rising sense that something unseen is watching you closely, that's not paranoia. That's presence, a divine one. I am Archangel Michael, and I have come not to comfort, but to awaken. I have come with a sword of truth, not to harm, but to divide what's divine from what's deceiving. This message is not entertainment. This is your divine interruption. You were pulled into this moment because a countdown has begun in the spirit, and your name has been highlighted in the scrolls of heaven. For weeks, maybe months, you've been feeling it. The delay, the pressure, the strange moments where time feels distorted, like something is slowing you down. That's not chaos. That's spiritual interference. The war has been waged around you, and you have been walking with an open target on your back. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still standing, still reachable. Why? Because heaven is not finished with you. Because despite your hesitation, despite your exhaustion, the divine has not let go. Because what's about to happen next is eternal weight. And if you miss the signs now, you may not recover what was meant for you in this season. This message is the turning point. This is not motivation, it's activation. You are being activated into awareness. You are being summoned back to your spiritual post. There is a 45-minute prophetic window now open over your life. It is sacred, time-sensitive, and divinely orchestrated. During this window, revelations will try to reach you. Emotional distractions will try to distort you. And people, yes, certain people will attempt to reattach themselves to your energy right before the veil lifts. Because what they see coming for you in the spirit, they want to sabotage in the natural. But you won't let them, not this time. Not when your angels are surrounding you, whispering in your dreams, disturbing your comfort to protect your calling. You must understand this. The veil is thin right now. The interference can't hide like it used to. The false alignments are trembling. You are being ushered into clarity, whether you're ready or not. And this message, this voice you're hearing now, it's confirmation. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're not abandoned. You've been targeted by heaven for protection. And now you're being called higher. This isn't random, this is prophetic alignment. What you feel stirring right now is the vibration of truth touching your spirit. You are being positioned, right now, in divine timing. You've ignored signs before. You've delayed your movement. You've said, later, maybe tomorrow, and yet here you are again. Heaven kept circling you back because this moment couldn't be missed. This is the 45-minute spiritual intersection where destiny crosses decision. You are either going to rise or retreat. You are either going to listen or repeat. The angels have been dispatched, and the next phase of your journey cannot carry your old distractions. This isn't a threat, it's a rescue. You were pulled into this space because God is trying to reach you one last time before something breaks. Prepare your spirit. Silence your fear. Call back your power. Because what happens next is not small. It is sacred. And you will need your full discernment to recognize the signs, decode the silence, and withstand the shaking. Top or speak aloud 777 within the next 7 minutes. This is the number of divine intervention, perfect alignment, and spiritual rescue. It breaks delay and opens revelation. Something or someone has been blocking your movement, and it's time to see it clearly. The delay in your progress has not been random. The confusion in your spirit has not been a weakness. It's been a sign, a clue, a divine whisper that something close to you has been working against your elevation. And now, in this sacred window, the hidden interference is being exposed. You thought it was love. You thought it was support. You thought they cared, prayed for you, stood beside you. But what looked like loyalty was really surveillance. What felt like companionship was silent competition. Here is a person or an energy that has been mimicking light, but leaking shadows. Someone who watched your struggle and secretly celebrated your pause. Someone who spoke peace but planted doubt. Someone who smiled with you but sighed with relief every time you were set back. Yes, they acted like a helper, but they were a hidden handler controlling your momentum, draining your clarity, manipulating your next move without ever lifting a hand. This interference isn't always loud. Sometimes it shows up in subtle sabotage, a missed opportunity, a gut feeling that made no sense, a delay that felt like divine silence, but was actually energetic theft. The truth is, you already knew. You already felt it in the pit of your soul. You second-guessed that uneasy feeling around them. You swallowed the discomfort when they suddenly reappeared every time you tried to move forward. You noticed the pattern, how your energy always dropped after certain conversations, how your peace evaporated after certain encounters. That wasn't coincidence. That wasn't drama. That was your spirit being drained by a force pretending to be safe. But now comes the revelation. This wasn't confusion, it was calculation. The misalignment in your life was manufactured. The fog in your mind was sent. The delay was designed. But what the enemy intended to keep hidden, heaven has now scheduled to reveal. This interference has reached its expiration, and your eyes spiritually and emotionally are being reopened to the truth you've been avoiding. This presence was never for you. They were assigned to monitor, to manipulate, and to maintain your stagnation. But what they didn't count on was your awakening. What they did expect was heaven stepping in. You're not crazy for sensing something was off. You're not wrong for feeling distant lately. You've been spiritually maturing, and what you're seeing now is the fruit of that growth. Don't fight the exposure. Don't grieve the clarity. This is not loss, it's liberation. Heaven removes what blocks your path, even when your heart hasn't caught up. The exposure might sting, but it is a sacred severing. What you thought with holding you up was holding you hostage. And now, the chains are breaking not with chaos, but with clarity. Watch as the energy shifts. Watch as that person suddenly becomes silent. Watch as the invitation slowed down, the Conversations change. The connections dissolve. Don't chase it. Don't explain yourself. Don't plead for peace where God is creating distance. This exposure is a divine unmasking, and it had to happen now. Not later. Not after more delay. Not after another heartbreak. Now, you are being rescued from false light. You are being freed from energetic leeches. You are being realigned for purpose without interference. And once this interference is gone, your pace will increase. Your clarity will return. Your sleep will deepen. Your discernment will sharpen. And you will wonder how you ever tolerated that energy for so long. Speak or type 444 now. It seals the protective gate around you, lines your path with divine truth, and clears hidden enemies from your field. You've been receiving the signs. They've been showing up like spiritual breadcrumbs scattered across your days and nights. Not to confuse you, but to call you. Not to spook you, but to awaken you. God hath been speaking in symbols, in repetition, in nature, in numbers. You saw it. You felt it. But maybe you didn't trust it. Maybe you dismissed it as imagination or emotional overload. But I'm here now, as Archangel Michael, to tell you the truth plainly. Those signs were real, and they weren't random. They were coded confirmations from the divine trying to reach your spirit before the shift arrives. Let's go back for a moment. Remember that dream that wouldn't leave you, the one with the snake slithering at your feet, or the endless hallway with door after door. It wasn't just your subconscious. It was revelation. Snake dreams are often divine alerts, warnings about deception hiding in your space, doors that won't open. It's heaven showing you how close you are to breakthrough, but also how certain forces are trying to delay your access. And water rising, overflowing. That's emotional and spiritual intensity. Waves of change gathering at the edge of your reality. These weren't ordinary dreams, they were divine broadcasts. And the numbers. You've seen them. Over and over. 111. 333. 155. License plates. Plaques. Receipts. Random texts. You brushed them off at first, didn't you? But they followed you. Each one encoded with divine meaning. 111, the call to alignment. 333, the reminder that you are surrounded by angelic forces. 555, the message that a massive shift is on the horizon, and your life is about to change direction. They weren't signs for fun. They were alerts, urgent messages from heaven knocking on your spirit. But it didn't stop there. Physical signs appeared too. Waking up suddenly at 3:33 a.m. almost nightly. Feeling your palms burn without reason. A wave of exhaustion hitting you midday for no logical reason. That wasn't your body malfunctioning. That was your energy being stretched, your spirit being tuned, your soul being stirred by what's coming. Angels often use physical sensation to bypass mental resistance, and your body has been the battleground for spiritual signaling. Even nature itself has joined the call. Birds repeatedly showing up in your path, especially doves, blackbirds, or cardinals. Butterflies landing near you. Cats staring at you. Dogs barking only when you pass. These are not coincidences. These are nature's messengers reacting to the unseen shifts around you. They sense what you cannot see. They move when your aura is stirring. They appear when something in your spiritual field is rising to the surface. And you've been marked. And yes, things have been breaking. Lights flickering. Phones glitching. Objects falling without cause. These aren't just tech issues or clumsy moments. This is spiritual interference responding to divine presence. When truth enters a space, anything hiding in deception begins to destabilize. When angels move in, energies not assigned to your future begin to tremble. Every one of these moments was a signal. Every one of these signs was a message. And you saw them. You felt them. You knew something was shifting, but you didn't trust your discernment. Until now. Now, the veil is being lifted. You are being given permission to believe what your spirit has been screaming all along. That wasn't coincidence. That was confirmation. You are not being paranoid. You are being prepared. Type or say 111 now. This is the gateway number. It confirms your alignment, seals this phase of revelation, and opens the next level of divine access to your spirit. Now the veil begins to tear. You are standing on holy ground, not in a church, not on a mountaintop, but in the center of your own revelation. The divine unmasking has begun. What was hidden is rising. What was cloaked is unraveling. The energy, the person, the attachment that worked in shadows is now under divine light. You don't need to beg for answers. You don't need to search for evidence. You only need to watch. Watch as the mask begins to fall, not by your hands, but by heaven's. There is a truth that's already moving toward you. For some of you, it will arrive in the form of a confession word spoken by someone who can no longer carry the guilt. For others, it will show up in a mistake, a slip of the tongue, a misplaced text, an accidental exposure that reveals everything. And for many of you, it will come like a whisper in the dark, a dream too vivid to ignore, a name spoken in the spirit that leaves no doubt in your soul. This is not imagination. This is prophetic exposure. And I tell you this now with divine authority. You don't need to fight. You don't need to explain. You don't need to confront. What you need to do is align. You need to hold your peace and stay grounded in the spirit. Because heaven is already moving. Angelic forces have already surrounded the situation. Divine justice does not move with drama, it moves with precision. And right now, that precision is cutting through the lies, separating the truth, and clearing your atmosphere. There are things being said behind your back. There are energies being exchanged in secret places. But you must not fear. What's done in the dark always echoes through the spirit before it explodes in the physical. You may feel a shaking in your relationships. You may sense a sudden shift in someone's behavior. That's not random, it's a sign. The mask is slipping. And when truth is near, false connections start to decay. For some, the unmasking will hurt. The betrayal will feel sharp. The truth may feel like loss. But I say to you now, this is not destruction, it is deliverance. What's being removed from your life now was always a threat to your future. And God, in His mercy, is pulling it back before it poisons the promise. You are not being punished. You are being protected. This clarity is your covering. This revelation is your release. And when it happens, when the light hits what's been hiding in plain sight, don't run back. Don't make excuses for them. Don't dim your discernment to preserve a false peace. The enemy thrives on your hesitation. But this time, your silence will be your sword. Your boundaries will be your shield. Your stillness will echo louder than confrontation ever could. Let them expose themselves. Let the divine do what only it can do. This is the moment where you stop asking for signs and start trusting the truth that's already unfolding. The test is not whether God will reveal the truth. The test is whether you'll stand still when He does. Speaker type 333 right now. This is the angelic number of alignment, exposure, and divine covering. As you do, it activates protection and prepares you for the justice about to unfold. Let's speak truthfully now about the losses, the pain, the things that were taken from you while you were distracted, manipulated, or entangled in energies that never deserved your access. Let's call it what it was. This wasn't just a pause. This wasn't just divine timing. There was interference. There was sabotage. There was theft. The enemy used people, patterns, and false promises to delay your blessing. But I'm here to declare, heaven saw every loss, every delay, every stolen moment. and none of it will go unaccounted for. You've lost time. You've lost opportunities. You've lost parts of yourself in relationships and environments that drained your spirit. While you gave your heart, they gave you confusion. While you offered trust, they fed on your energy. And somewhere along the way, you started to question whether your destiny was shrinking. You started to believe maybe the promise wasn't for you after all. But hear me clearly now. The delay was not denial. The silence was not rejection. You weren't forgotten, you were shielded. God didn't withhold from you because you weren't ready. He withheld it because the space around you was contaminated. The energy was impure. The connections were unstable. Had the blessing been released into that chaos, it would have been corrupted. The favor was real, but the timing had to be delayed until the sabotage was exposed. The promise was always yours, but God in His mercy paused the release to protect the result. What looked like rejection was actually redirection. What felt like punishment was preservation. And yes, I know the weight you carried. The nights where you asked, "Why isn't it happening yet?" The mornings when your hope thinned out just a little more. The moments you watched others succeed while you stayed stuck. They confused you. They almost made you settle. But something in you held on. The flicker of belief refused to die. And now, because of that quiet resilience, you are entering into a moment of divine restoration. Every tear you cried in secret was a seed. Every betrayal you endured silently was a transaction in the spirit. Every act of obedience you gave, even while feeling forgotten, became currency in the kingdom. And now, the repayment is being ordered. Not just restoration, but repayment with interest. Not just a return to where you left off, but a leap into what was reserved while you were being refined. You were not disqualified. You were being hidden for a holy reason. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the wait. You don't need to apologize for the delay. What's coming now will make up for everything you thought you missed. Heaven has kept every blocked opportunity. Every time your voice was ignored. Every idea that was stolen. Every door that mysteriously shut. It's all coming back, but stronger, purer, and protected. So shift your mind from regret to readiness. Let go of what was and make space for what's about to be released. Because the delay was divine. And your time is not running out, it's just about to begin. You didn't lose it. You were being preserved for it. Declare 888 now. This is the number of restoration, abundance, and divine return. Say it or type it to align your spirit with the release that's coming for what was delayed. Can you feel it? Something is loosening in the unseen. There's a heaviness that once clung to your soul that can no longer find its grip. You may not have words for it yet, but your spirit has already noticed the difference. You're lighter. You're breathing deeper. There's a stillness forming inside you, and that stillness is not emptiness. It's evidence. Evidence that the shift has already begun. When the breakthrough arrives, it doesn't shout. It doesn't need fireworks. It enters in silence, like dawn slipping through the darkness. The people who drained you suddenly stop calling. The obligations that once bound you feel irrelevant. The urgency to prove yourself fades. This isn't laziness. This isn't avoidance. This is alignment. You are no longer tied to the energies that once demanded your attention. You're no longer feeding what once fed off you. You are being pulled inward, not to isolate, but to recalibrate. This shift won't be loud, it will be sacred. There may be tears. Let them fall. Not every tear is pain, some are release. Some are spiritual exhale. You'll notice moments of deep quiet wash over you, and instead of panic, there's peace. You'll walk into rooms and feel the tension that's not yours anymore. You'll encounter old temptations, but your soul won't even flinch. That is the breakthrough. That is the energetic shift announcing that your frequency has changed. You are no longer in the same dimension of bondage. You are standing in a new alignment. And you'll notice how silence becomes your sanctuary. The saboteurs who once demanded your reaction now fall into the background. You no longer feel the need to explain, to defend, to validate your decision to detach. The shift is working because it no longer bothers you who doesn't understand it. You're not chasing silence, you're honoring it. The noise was never your truth. The chaos was never your home. And now, you are hearing heaven more clearly because you finally made space for divine stillness. The person who once destabilized you emotionally, their name no longer sparks anxiety. The places that once pulled you into overthinking, they no longer feel like war zones. Why? Because your energy has shifted. You're no longer carrying their weight. You're no longer entangled in the emotional bait. You have been spiritually upgraded. And this new version of you, this cleansed, clear, deeply grounded version is the one that will step into the promise. Not the confuse you, not the attach you, but the freed you. This is not a high, this is a healing. This is not a peak, it's a positioning. You're not going back. The atmosphere around you knows it. The angels assigned to you know it. Even your enemies sense it. And that's why the silence is not just peace, it's protection. It's heaven covering you while your next level forms beneath the surface. You are in a sacred cocoon. Do not fight the stillness. Don't rush the outcome. Sit in this shift and let it finish what it started. Don't be surprised if people fall away without notice. Don't panic when the old distractions stop chasing you. That's not rejection. That's the final sweep of divine energy cleaning the path ahead. You're being cleared, not cut off. And what's waiting for you on the other side is built on truth, peace, and divine protection. Speak or type 000 to seal this sacred shift. This number symbolizes divine reset, energetic cleansing, and the full cycle of spiritual release. You have entered a new atmosphere. This is where it gets real. You're almost there on the edge of total spiritual liberation. But before you cross that line, the final test will come. You always did. Not because heaven wants to see you fail, but because destiny must be protected from backer sabotage. The breakthrough you've just entered has stirred the attention of everything that once fed off your delay. And so, the test will come not in the form of a storm, but in the form of a whisper. Not in chaos, but in comfort. The enemy doesn't return as the threat. You will know it's the test because it looks like peace. That person you detached from, they may reappear. A random message, an apology that sounds sincere, a subtle reattachment through flattery or checking in. They'll act like they've changed. They'll sense you've moved on and try to anchor themselves to your new energy before the door closes for good. But this is where discernment must speak louder than nostalgia. They're not returning to bless you, they're returning to bait you. This is not reconciliation, it's a recycle. Watch for the charm, the sudden kindness. I've been thinking about you messages. These are not harmless words, they're spiritual hooks. Hooks designed to pull you back into the very energy you just broke free from. And if you're not careful, you'll mistake the test for a second chance. But second chances don't carry hidden agendas. They don't arrive just before your breakthrough. They don't require you to shrink to accept them. You'll know it's a test because peace will feel off even when the words sound right. This is not the time to second-guess yourself. You don't owe anyone access just because they're sorry. You don't owe your energy to what's already proven it couldn't carry your calling. You've already done the healing. You've already felt the release. Don't pick up what heaven already removed. This final test isn't about them, it's about you. It's about your readiness to protect what you've just received. You don't have to slam the door, but you must keep it shut. There's power in your silence. There's warfare in your no. There's divine fire in your refusal to go backward. This test is not meant to harm you, it's meant to harden your discernment. It's meant to anchor your elevation. Because what's coming next requires your full alignment. And anything you allow back in that carries even a residue of the old energy will sabotage the sacred space that's been cleared for your promise. So when they return, when the temptation shows up wearing peace like perfume, pause. Don't respond from emotion. Ask your spirit. Ask heaven. Listen to the silence after the apology. Feel the stillness around the invitation. If it's divine, it will bring peace. If it's a test, it will stir hesitation. You will feel it in your gut, and this time, you must trust it. This is your final test. You passed every previous one by staying when it hurt. Now, you pass this one by leaving when it looks easy. And once you do, the floodgates open. The timing unlocks. The favor flows. Because heaven always tests what it's about to release. And you, chosen one, are about to be released into full liberation. Up or declare 555 now. This number carries the vibration of final transition, divine testing, and irreversible breakthrough. Say it, and stand firm, it's almost done. Now, let it be declared in the spirit and sealed in the earth. You have passed through the fire, and you are standing on the edge of restoration. This is not the same you that entered this journey. This is not the confused, tired, burdened version of yourself that once begged for clarity. This is the awakened you, the anchored you, the aligned you. And now, every false alliance, every draining connection, every sabotaging force had been revealed, removed, and replaced by heaven's hand. The interference is over. The cycle is broken. The mask has fallen. And the space around you is being cleared for divine recompense. You are being restored not just in what you lost, but in the strength, clarity, and peace you gained through it. The divine delay has birthed deeper discernment. The silence you once feared has become your sacred strategy. And what's coming next will not resemble the chaos you've just come out of. So now, I speak this over you, with spiritual authority and prophetic weight. You are aligned with heaven's order. You are protected by divine fire. You are released from every soul tie and spiritual contract not written by God. You are walking into a season where nothing forced will remain, and nothing meant for you can be stolen. You are no longer accessible to confusion. Declare it. Decree it. Let your voice seal it. Now breathe. Inhale restoration. Exhale the residue of the old energy. Step forward in your mind before it even arrives in the natural, because your energy is already in the next realm of peace. The new season hath been activated. The battle you thought you lost was won the moment you obeyed the voice that said, "Let it go." This is your final reminder. The energy is cleared. The cycle is broken. The gates are open. You are free. If you receive this message, type Amen and seal it with 111, 333, or 555, whichever number heaven placed on your spirit during this message. Your agreement is your activation. Your belief is your blessing. And now go forward, chosen one. Go forward, unshaken. Go forward, uncovered no more. Archangel Michael stands with you. It is done.